All right, let's try this one more time. I don't get the echo, and it looks like my thing's working. So I think what happened was my program actually took my mixer off. So let's try this again. Uh, let's see here. Looks like I'm still live. So all right. Perfect. Okay, it's working okay this time. So for some reason, I haven't used my computer in a while. For some reason, I kicked my mixer off and went to. I don't get the echo, and it looks like my. Okay, cool. All right. So what ended up happening was my computer kicked my mixer off for some damn reason. I had to change the defaults back. So apologize about that. So I'm going to start this video over. So there's been a lot of people around the country that have been doing protests and all that good stuff around the country. So it's something that I think okay, 5x5, but for some reason my video is not playing on here now. I don't know what is going on. What is going on? Let me make sure that I'm still streaming. Let's see here. Okay, 5x5 for some reason. All right, well, I'm gonna. Okay, there it goes. It looks like it's working again. I don't know what is going on, but anyway, it looks like there's a lot of people that are going around the country right now. They're doing all kinds of different stuff. Protesting. I know that Sacramento had a protest today. There's been protests all over the country. Everybody's getting sick of being locked down, and for understandable reasons. We've been lied to by the media more times than we can count. We don't trust them. It's gotten completely out of hand, and I think that the American people they're going to start slapping back. And I think today and this last week is a pretty good example of that. There was a really good vehicle protest a few days ago, and that actually went really well. And I got a feeling we're going to see more of those popping up. We have one here in Anchorage, actually on Wednesday. We're going to go out and participate in that and see what we can do. For some reason, I don't know if it's. I don't know why it's doing it. It looks like my video is cutting in and out a little bit. Anyway, we hope to, wake up some people here in town. Just so you know, Anchorage is actually a pretty liberal city. I went out last week and was on the news, and we protested a little bit against the mayor because he wanted, on his hunker down order, he wanted. What the hell do I got going on here? I have a cat or something running around me, so I apologize. Anyway, we have a liberal mayor, and he wanted to extend his hunker down order until November the 15th up here. Of course, the governor, which is a good governor, he actually wants to start opening up the state here soon, in slow process, but at the same time, it is what it is, and we're going to have to, slowly get back to things as normal. I know that I've talked to a bunch of different people that are having problems getting unemployment. They're having problems getting their stimulus checks, things like that. The IRS's website keeps acting up. I haven't got my stimulus check. And yes, I have paid, yeah, exactly, November. Yeah, I haven't got my stimulus check, even though we did file our 18 taxes. We haven't done 19s yet, but looking to do that soon. But for some reason, the IRS website doesn't want to work with us. So we can't figure out why the hell we won't get that, but whatever. My unemployment did kick in about 2 weeks ago, so we're starting to get something in. Thank God. Luckily, we've been able to put off a few of the bills. And that actually works out with the a lot of people are hurting right now because they, if they own a house, they don't have any way to put that payment off. So, if you've got a payment that's uh, you know, substantial. You know, if you're not working, the unemployment does not cover that. So my housing place wouldn't, or my bank would not defer any. What they wanted to do, and it completely blows my friggin' mind, is yeah, I could put it in forbearance and go 6 months without having to pay it, but then at the end of the 6 months, I'd have to come up with the entire amount, which is completely ridiculous. If you're not working, how are you going to be able to do that? It's like the banks set you up to fail. So, but as far as the protests and stuff going around the country, it's nice to see people standing up. I watched some videos this morning and this afternoon from Sacramento, from Minnesota, Wisconsin, across the country, and people are standing up, and I mean, even people that would not necessarily be on our side are starting to stand up, and they're starting to take notice and do the things the right way. So, today, gas prices plummeted. Last I seen it was in the negative. So, definitely you need to go out and fill up, because gas prices are pretty indicative of a crash. And we're looking at that right now. It's a polar bear, Dustin. Look at some of the comments on here. Yeah, you know, it's something that I think we're going to see a lot worse things come down the pipe if we're not paying attention. And you know, right now, people, you want to join the convo, David? You got to call me on Skype, and you got to have a camera that's not moving around all over the place. It needs to be a fixed camera and that kind of stuff, David. Yeah, it's something that you know, we're sick of it. I know I'm sick of it. I was on the news this last week, basically telling the mayor here that you know, for one, he doesn't deserve any more power. Two, he hasn't done anything other than to lock us down faster than most of the other states, including when we didn't have any. He was talking about locking us down before we even had a case. So, you know, in Alaska being spread out in as big a state as we are, that would have been a huge disaster. As it is, with the gas prices plummeting and everything else, that's a huge hit for Alaska. We depend on the oil prices and everything to stay up. The permanent fund dividend check that everybody gets every year is based off of the oil prices. So right now, with them being at zero, lots of native people, lots of native corporations are not getting paid. The people of Alaska is not going to get paid while this is happening. It's all huge when it comes to the big scheme of things up here. We have a lot of things that need to be rectified, need to be fixed. And you know, we need to get Trump's ear on this stuff, because if we don't, this November is going to be really ugly. And hopefully, you know, I know that he's not running against a very good partner, or a very good opponent, I should say, not partner. So he's going to have hopefully an easy opportunity to kick his ass, but I'm waiting for the debates. And now here's the thing, okay? So if you think about the thing in the large scheme of things, the media does not want Joe Biden on stage. He doesn't want to, they don't want to see him debate Trump. We all know why. Biden's a complete joke. And if they, news on the California Operation Gridlock. All right, Capo. I'll talk to you about that later. Yeah, it is about time, Michael. I agree. About time to get the party started, he said. Yeah, it's something that you know, we're gonna have issues with, and we need to definitely rectify it. What the hell was that? That was weird. I just got an invite to my own video. That's not good. That's something new. Big Igloo, Kevin says. Biden is an asshat. Well, you know, here's the thing. If Biden were to win in November, which, you know, God forbid that does happen, he will. You know, we've always heard about, you know, having the first woman president with Hillary, and the first this and that and everything else, and then, you know, we've already had the first black president, and Hillary would have been the first woman president. Well, if Biden wins, we will have the first retarded president. Um, so I hope that they're not going. I hope that they're taking that into consideration, and they're not going for that, because Biden in the White House would be a complete disaster for this country. We're in the middle of a disaster as it is, and it's all media created. So um, it's gone entirely too far already. We need to make sure that we do what we can. I think Facebook is like seriously throttling me right now. I'm watching. I'm on my video, but I'm watching the live on another monitor, and it's really cutting out. Let me know. Let me know, guys. Is my video cutting out on your end, or is it just my end, or what's going on? I have really good internet here, so I shouldn't have any issues streaming. So I'm just kind of curious. I'm going to see what my internet speed is real quick. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to do an internet speed test just to check and see if it's Facebook or see if it's actually my internet. 1 second here, folks. Just checking it real quick. Oh yeah, my internet's flying. I'm good on the internet, on the download anyway. Let's see what the upload looks like. Not as fast as it has been sometimes, but it's still way better than what most is up here. 330.3 on the download. On the upload, I'm like in the 50s. I'm way good. So if I'm having issues internet wise, if I'm having issues on here with the video and everything, it must be on my end. That's weird. All right, well, I appreciate that, guys. Thanks for letting me know. My internet's really good, and so I'm not having any issues in that respect. And my CPU is running really good, so it's got to be, I don't know, Facebook throttling me or something. So anyway, I'll continue the video. Anyway, so I'm looking for people out there that have been to these been to these rallies. They want to talk about their experiences. I know in Sacramento, there was people out there dressed as nurses and everything else, and they were actually Antifa idiots, trying to, left says that they locked up, and the right seems to want a party central. The right, I guess, is slipping into the left abyss. Well, Greg, I tell you what the deal is, man, is, if you do the research and stuff, and you look at the numbers of everything that's going on around the country as far as the COVID thing goes and everything else, this will be the first time that we've ever shut the country down to battle an illness that only kills 1% of the population, or 2% of the population, or even 3% of the population. If you look at if you look at the flu kills more people annually than this thing ever will. And the people are getting pretty upset. They want to go back to work. They can't afford what they've got going on, and I completely understand it. I'm in the same boat right now. I don't have, I can't go to work. My business is considered non-essential, and it's causing some of our bills and stuff to back up. And people can still go out, and we go out with our masks on and stuff, and it may be a little bit of a risk. But, for the biggest part of it, if you don't have any major health concerns, why are you being locked down? I mean, they're saying, well, you can spread it to other people and yada, yada, yada. Well, if people are scared to have it spread, then they should stay home. The problem that they're taking, the thing that they're taking away from everybody is their choice. It's like they've completely eliminated your choice. If you want to risk it and you want to go out and you want to get sick, that should be your choice. And I know that sounds kind of, some people think that may be illogical, but there's been rallies across this country, and we're not getting any reports of people getting really sick, and we're not getting any reports of major issues because of that. Now, there may be. I think this all comes down to a matter of choice. Kathy Wagner Anderson said exactly, "Don't take away my choice." It's 100% the truth. If you're so scared that you're going to get sick, stay home. You know, I'm not telling you that you have to go out. I'm not telling you that you have to do anything else. If you're an elderly person, you're over 65 years old, and you've got underlying health issues, stay home. No, you don't have to come out. But those that are healthy, that may or may not be able to catch this, let them do what they got to do. You know, give them. A lot of these people take vitamin C. They take all kinds of other vitamins. Let them go do their thing. It's not hurting anybody to do that. Now that they're saying, oh, well, you can spread it to someone else, and you can do this and that and the other. Well, if you're smart and you're not stupid and you're not out there breathing on somebody or licking up somebody's nose, you're gonna be fine. I mean, as it is, they're letting us go out and go shopping. They're letting us go to grocery stores. They're letting us go to all these other places, and yet they're shutting down some that don't have that much business or that don't have the population and they're not packed stores. They're closing them down. Give you an example of one a couple that they closed down up here that I think is completely ridiculous. Is they closed down Sportsman's Warehouse, Cabela's, and Bass Pro. And now those are gun retailers, which under Trump's order, he deemed them an essential store, not specifically Sportsman's, Cabela's, and Bass Pro Shops, but they sell guns, so that would be considered a gun store. But here's the thing that sucks is they also sell all kinds of survival stuff. They sell all kinds of food and clothing and sleeping bags and camping equipment and things like that in case of emergencies you'd be able to break out and be able to use. And they won't allow them to stay open. They actually went out and put a notice on the door and closed Sportsman's Warehouse and shut them down. What's going on, Dee Dee? I see Justin's watching, Elaine's watching, Dee Dee's watching, Matthew Rosenberg, Sean Miranda, Catherine Crawford. So, basically for me, this comes down to someone's choice. If you want to go out and you want to risk it, that should be your choice. The media is proclaiming that if you go out, now you have a risk of getting someone else sick. Well, that someone else that you may get sick, that's also their choice for wanting to go out. If they want to go out and be in public, then that's their choice as well. If they don't want to be, then that's their choice. They can stay at home. But the thing is this is almost like the debate. I hate to say this and bring it up, but it's almost like the debate of abortion, right? The women's are always screaming and hollering about women on the left, I should say, are always screaming and hollering about having their choice. And well, you know what? The rest of the country wants their choice too. We want to be able to go out and do what we want to do. And at the same time, if you don't want to do it, then that's your choice to stay home. So, personally, I'll be there, David. Absolutely, I'll be there. And I'm in total agreement. My concern is if we are going to protest, let's do it in a way that will be heard. Well, Greg, I think Sacramento got heard today. They were all over the news, so hopefully, yeah, we can't give the left ammo to shoot us down. I agree. I think if as long as the protests and the things that we do are peaceful. Jason Hack just said, our governor said today we need to be closed for 18 more months in Minnesota. Let me ask you something. Are they high? Is weed legal there? Because they must have smoked a hell of a bowl. Let me ask you guys something else too. And I don't have that many up here, so I can't gauge it. But I know that they're closing down churches and stuff across the country. They're ticketing people that go to church and even churches that are doing service in the parking lot. They're ticketing them. Are they doing that to every church, every religion's church? Or is it just Christians and Jewish people and what's the deal there? I don't know because I'm not seeing it up here. Thank you for acknowledging me. Absolutely, Elaine. I like to at least put out there that the viewers I have. So we have all kinds of different religions in this country. We're the melting pot. But if you start pinpointing one religion over another and you start ticketing one and not the others, then you're pushing a pretty strong agenda on what you're trying to do. Here's the thing, okay? Trump had the economy the best it's been in a long time. Then all of a sudden, here comes the COVID-19 thing, and they literally shut the country down. Now we're having zero and lower gas prices, and the oil prices have dropped per barrel, and we've completely. Let's see. Lowe's in Yuba City looked like it was last minute shopping on Christmas Eve yesterday. It was packed, and the lines were very long. Well, Kenny, it's kind of funny. Up here a couple days ago, they actually had us going down certain aisles, but yesterday we went in there and it was just like normal, and everything looks just as good. Elaine, go ahead and make your comment. Beck Leonard, the AG came out recently stating it's illegal for anyone to shut down a church. That's good. I think that's the right way. But here's the thing. With it being a state's issue, and this is many cases it is, the state can, send their police departments and their sheriff's departments and whatever out there to ticket them and use that as a revenue source. And I guarantee you that's what part of this is. Let's see here. They're full here in St. Cloud too. Yeah, our Lowe's was good. We didn't have anything disappearing here in Lowe's. Okay, I want to make my... Okay, well, go ahead and make your comment, Elaine. I'm watching the comments. Let's see. Freedom isn't free as it stands. Freedom is definitely not free. We're already seeing that. We're paying out the ass for it right now. Whatever of it we have left. It's time for Waltz. Let's see. Waltz says businesses will have to continue these new practices for the next 18 months, and we'll have to get used to social distancing. Yeah, screw the social distancing stuff. I don't plan on licking someone's ear, so it's gotten pretty damn ridiculous, I'll tell you that. Same with Home Depot. Went there Saturday in Yuba City. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in your area. Maybe there's something going on down there that I don't know about. But our hardware stores and stuff are fine. We're not having any issues in that respect. But here's the thing, folks. With the oil prices dropping and everything else, and basically, they should be paying us to take the gas now, right? We should be getting free tanks of gasoline. But with that dropping and everything else, the stock market is... thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's with the stock market and everything going down, it might be a good idea for you to start pulling some money out of the banks. I know a lot of people have lost a shit ton of money on the stock market in the last, since this thing started last month, really. And it's going to continue to keep dropping. So it might be a good idea if you get money in the banks, it may be a good idea when you get it in there to pull it out. Keep a little bit in there to keep your accounts open, but ultimately it may be better to have the cash on hand. Maybe trade it in for something that's worth a little bit more, because right now it's getting pretty ugly. Did Trump say it's been a pleasure being your president, March? I don't know. I mean, he may have. I don't think he's planning on quitting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's where you're assuming that's happened, or I have not seen that. I don't watch everything that Trump does just because it gets kind of old and it's very monotonous. I have no idea, Elaine. I don't know if he said it's been a pleasure being your president. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't watch Dave Hodges. There's so many people out there I don't watch, and the reason I don't is because right now with the media, social media being the way it is, it's so opinionated, and it's so there's so much stuff going on out there. It's really hard to keep track of every single thing. I don't watch Dave Hodges, Elaine. It's not. I watched him years ago, and it started being kind of like in a background kind of thing. So I just completely stopped watching it. That there's so many different news outlets out there that are reporting so many different things. You don't know who to trust and who to watch. And I think that's kind of their game. You know, they want to keep the American public confused on what's going on, because if we're confused, we don't know what decisions to make. And a statement of gratitude. I hope so. Watching Trump is similar to watching Governor Cuomo. Well, you know, I would still rather watch Trump than I would watch Biden. I don't watch Trump all the time just because, you know, there's so many sound bites. I know that eventually I'm gonna see it come across here. So when the lives come on with Trump, I don't necessarily go jump to him. For one, there's so much hatred and stuff on the news conferences from different people. It's not worth my time anymore. You know, I can go back and watch a preview or the snippets of certain thing and get an idea of what was said. And basically, you know, if a mainstream media reports on it, you're going to believe the opposite anyway. You know, watching Trump is like watching Cuomo. Yeah, but Cuomo's got those real nice nipple rings, I hear. So at least Trump is smart enough not to wear a tight shirt like that. I have a couple great Minnesota Patriots I'm sending to friend you because, hey, absolutely, Jason, go ahead, man. I appreciate that. And, you know, I need to get more people on here. You know, I'm kind of shocked. You know, I've got an outlet right here that can get people on and get their voices heard, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. All you got to do is call me on Skype, and nobody's taking that opportunity. It kind of blows my mind. You know, if you guys are willing to go out to a rally, or you guys are willing to go out and you know, speak your mind on your own pages, why not come on video? You know, it's like you know, it's kind of like, you know, shit or get off the pot. And I don't know if people are just scared that they're going to get busted for something, or they can't moderate their language, or what the deal is. But, you know, I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I've been just absolutely fine. I haven't had any major issues. Although I do have people that keep sending me messages on Facebook, and it's starting to irritate me a little bit because it screws with my live feed a little bit. But that's part of the problem here. What's going on, Petey? I see you're on here watching. That's cool. I shared, but this live is not public. Hold on one second. It will be. Let's see here. Jason, it should be public. Yeah, Jason, it should be public now. Yeah, for some reason, whenever I do Facebook, I got to remember to do that, and I apologize for not doing that before. It should be public now, so everybody should be able to see it. Kathleen Johnson Gadsden, hello from Northern Indiana. It's nice to see some people on here from other parts of the country. Hopefully everything is going well for you out there, Kathleen. And let's see, Sherman, I downloaded Skype and I want to join you. What's your name? It would be hold on one second, David. Let me see if I can get you pulled up here. I don't know if I just dropped my, let's see. Okay, there we go. I'm going to look up David real quick. Let's see. I got one guy that wants to join me real quick. Let's see here. David, it would look up Dustin Sherman. That's what my name is under there. If you tell me what your name is, I can look you up a little easier probably. I have my Skype pulled up right now, so I want to be on video. David William Powell. Look up my name, Dustin Sherman. Let's see here. I'm not sure which one. Oh, I bet that's him right there. That's him right there. So I'm sending David a message here. Hopefully I can get him on and see what he's got to say. Waiting for David to accept invitation. David, you got to accept my invitation, dude. I just sent you an invite. I'll see if he answers. All right, it's ringing. Let's see if he picks it up. Let's see if he answers. I don't know if you guys can hear the Skype call or not, but yeah, he's not answering. Well, he just missed out. Cougar Watchman. Who the hell's Cougar Watchman? Okay, hold on. What the hell? Oh, it's David. He's got two profiles on here. One's got his real name and one's got something else. We'll try him again. All right, Cougar Watchman, what's happening?
What's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, good deal. Give me a second here. I'll get you on my video with me. Give me 1 second here. I got to add you as a source, so hold on a second. All right, so we're going to get you on there. All right, let's see if you pop up on here. There you are. Look at that. You're on there. All right, so we'll scale you down a little bit. Well, actually, we'll scale you down over here. What's happening, David?
Nothing much. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's a going. It's just another day in beautiful Alaska.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. How's Nevada doing? Nevada starting to get any better, or is it just the same?
It's just the same, to be honest. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I think we're in for a world of hurt here in the next few months.
Yeah, we probably are. And probably not in a way that you think.
Yeah. Well, I'm sharing my screen with you so you can see the video. Can you see my video now?
I can, and sorry if mine is choppy. I live in a very rural area, and I have no neighbors, so.
No worries. I think so far you're doing okay. Anyway, so I mean, what do you think about the protests and stuff? I know that they're going on across the country right now. What do you think about the COVID-19 thing? First of all, how about that?
Okay, so my wife was tested for it because she had every symptom. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, every symptom. She had 103 fever for about a week.
Right.
She lost pounds because she couldn't eat. I know one day she didn't even get out of bed at all.
Right.
It was pretty scary. She even said that it felt like she was going to die. And I'm not kidding on this, okay? Now, she was one of the first people in Carson City to get tested. And her test back negative. But that doesn't mean that she didn't have it, okay? There was a lot of false negatives on the first test that came out.
Let me ask you, did she take the flu shot this year?
No.
Okay, because there's been a lot of reports now lately that if you've taken the flu shot, you'll show up positive. So that's another false negative or false positive. So I just figured I'd ask.
No. For one, I haven't taken a flu shot since 2003 because the last time I got the flu shot, I ended up getting the flu. I ended up getting bronchitis. That was actually during the SARS outbreak in 2000. Yeah, that was 2003, 2004, right?
Funny how that works, right? You take the flu shot to not get sick, and you get sick.
Oh my God! Everybody in our fucking flight in boot camp got sick. Everybody. It was fucking horrible. They almost washed everybody back, and I begged and pleaded, and I'm like, no, I'll fucking power through this, and I didn't get washed back. But let me get back to my point here.
Mm-hmm.
So, my wife, it's not confirmed that she had it, okay? But I'm a little bit mad. You know me personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that first protest you went to in Sacramento was your very first one, me and you, that long-ass fucking march, excuse my language.
Yeah, that was the Pro 2A march.
Okay.
That's when we met each other.
That was a pretty big rally. That was actually one of the biggest gun rallies in recent California history.
Right.
God forbid, and it wasn't that big.
Yeah, we had maybe about 200 people.
Yeah, but it was a lot of people that are pretty well known in the gun rights community in California.
Mm-hmm.
So that does matter. I'm a little bit mad at these protests. Okay, look, you have a right to go and protest. You have the First Amendment right. Everybody knows that, and you know I'm all about that. Okay, but this wasn't the time for it at all. Okay, it just wasn't. And I know I'm gonna lose a lot of friends from this video, and I could give two shits. Okay, this isn't the time for it. When this pandemic crap is over, that's the time to protest, and I will be down there with everybody. But this isn't the time. You guys are out there being you're being dangerous. You're being very dangerous. And it's sickening. I have friends that have had it down in LA. I haven't had any friends die from it. My wife I'm pretty fucking positive she had the shit. Okay? And for people to go out there and protest en masse and not give a shit about social distancing and not masking up and basically doing what the fuck you want, if you guys get sick, that's your own goddamn fault.
Well, let me ask you this, okay? So I mentioned this at the beginning of my video. I'm not sure if you caught it, but I think that the biggest issue on this whole thing becomes a matter of choice, David. And I don't think it's a matter of people wanting to go out and get people sick. I don't think it's a matter of people, wanting to infect other people. I think it comes down to a matter of choice. And here's the thing: our governors, and you're a constitutionalist. You're like I am, okay, when it comes to this kind of stuff, right? And you believe in the Constitution, you believe in what it represents and what it stands for. Now, what I see with this, and I'll be honest with you, I've been out there and I've protested our mayor, and I did that safely. I went out there with a mask on, I had gloves on, I had myself covered. When I came home, I left all my stuff in my garage, and I didn't bring it in my home because my wife does have asthma real bad. But I did it, I would consider it the smart way. I went out with a mask on. I did not interview with the mask on, but the guy that was interviewing me was plenty far away. I wasn't licking his ear or playing with his nose, nothing like that. But after it was done with, my mask went back on. So now, with that said, again, I think this comes down to a matter of choice. When you have mayors, when you have governors, when you have politicians that do not have our best interest at heart, and they don't care, they will literally shut down the country to ruin Trump. That's what we're seeing right now. Now, obviously, Congress right now is on a vacation, right? Where's Nancy Pelosi at in the middle of this epidemic? She's on vacation in California somewhere, staying in her house that's surrounded by a friggin' fence. So, if this is as dire as what everyone says it is, and I'm not saying it's not, but if it is as dire as, don't you think that they should be in Washington working on it?
Well, they're probably just social distancing at this point because nobody wants it.
Well, I mean, David, here's the thing. When I moved up here, I don't know if you remember this or not. When I moved back up to Alaska, this is last year. Okay, I went a month and a half with some kind of illness. I don't know what it was. Okay, we call it the breakup flu. Okay, same kind of symptoms. I felt like crap. There was like 2 or 3 days where I didn't go to work because I couldn't get out of bed. I finally went to the doctor. I finally got some antibiotics, and it took it a week for it to work. But ultimately, it worked. It broke. I had a fever. It broke my fever. It did a whole bunch of other stuff. But in the process of me being sick, I was taking vitamins too to try and help boost my immune system and try and beat it. And it finally broke, and I had the same dry cough that everybody talks about. This is before the COVID-19 thing came out, and I would consider the same stuff that I had almost what your wife had. And I stayed at home because I didn't want to get everybody else sick. We have what we call the breakup flu up here, just so you know. And what the breakup flu does, and this is where I'm going with this, is our breakup flu could be considered the same thing as the COVID thing, because what happens is we have a lot of dust in the air. All the snow and everything melts, and for like a month, we have dust in the air from all the sand and crap that the city and the state drops on all the snow so that you have traction. They don't use ice melt like a lot of other states do. They actually just dump dirt on the road so that you get traction that way. And it helps break up the ice and everything else too. But once all the ice and snow is melted, now you have nothing but dust in the air. So even if you're outside, even if you're in your car, even if you're wearing a mask, you're still going to catch this crap that's in your chest. And it doesn't stop anybody up here. They still go to work. They still do all the kind of stuff that they do, but they tend to end up getting on antibiotics and vitamins and stuff like that to help defeat it. And it takes a while to get acclimated to that. This year I'm worried because my wife, it's her first year up here. She's got asthma real bad. So in some respects, staying home is a good thing. But at the same time, when your bills are packing up, you don't have any money for, to go out and get food because you don't have a job. There's so many different things that surround this whole COVID thing that I think, to me, at least in my mind, I guess you could say, it's more of a matter of choice than anything else. I think everybody has a choice whether or not to go outside. And I think that it comes down to that. If they start taking away our choices to do things, then I think the country's lost, man. And I not saying that your wife wasn't very sick. I'm sure she was. I believe you and I trust you on that. But I just think that the media overblew this. I think that China is completely at fault for it. I think that they knew what was going on before they ever let anybody know. And I think that every American that has been sick from this should be suing the shit out of China, and I think they should go bankrupt. I think that this could be considered an act of war. I mean, they're not going bankrupt. They're not having the same issues with the economy that we are, and we're not the only ones. You look at all the other countries that are bankrupt from this: the UK, Italy, you name it. It's happening. And it's not just going to be an American problem economic-wise. It's going to be a global economic disaster. So, I don't know. I think, did you see the vehicle rally that was going around a couple days ago?
Yes, the vehicle rally that's all fine, man. But did you see the rally? And I know I'm going to lose some fucking friends, and I really don't care at this point.
The Sacramento one?
The one in Sacramento, the one in Carson City, it's like nobody gave two shits. I would have supported the car rally, or if they would have actually. Okay, one of the main organizers is Assemblyman Jim Wheeler. Okay, he's a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Right when the rally started, he had asked Nevadans to at least keep your distance, be smart about this rally, and you know what? They weren't fucking smart. They totally disregarded everything he said. And I'll be damned. I could guarantee you, Dustin, I'm not a fucking conspiracy theorist, and you know this, okay? Because me and you have seen some weird shit in our time that we've known each other. But I could guarantee you there's going to be a second outbreak of this, and it's going to be much fucking worse. And I'm not trying to scare people, but it's always the second outbreak that's always worse. It always is. Well, the second outbreak of 1918 was much more deadly than the first outbreak.
Right.
That's a historical fact. And if this second outbreak is caused because these people went out and protested, I'm going to be so fucking furious with people, dude. I'm going to be so furious.
Well, I think, here's the thing, and this is something to keep in mind, too. I guarantee you that 99%, and I'm not saying that there's not one or two that have come across this or had it, but I guarantee you 99% of the people that were there probably haven't had the symptoms and stuff like your wife had, right? They're not having the same issues, health-wise that she may have had. And, I haven't seen anything yet. Now it's early yet. I mean, there could be still 2 weeks out before anything starts to show up. But, in a couple of weeks, we may start hearing about people getting sick that was at these rallies. But
I really hope that's not what happens, because nobody wants to see anyone die from this. But God damn it, you guys got to be smart about it. That's all we're asking is for people to be smart about it.
Right.
That's all I'm asking. And if people can't be smart about it, then damn them.
Right.
Damn those fucking people, you know?
Well, it comes down. It comes down to risk, man. I mean, again, it's someone's choice. If they want to go out and risk
Hold on,
it,
no, it's not. It's more than that, Dustin. It's way more than that. You're not just putting yourself at risk. You're putting everybody else at risk. Everybody else. That's not fair. That's not fucking fair. That's like saying, "Well, I have HIV and I'm gonna just spread it around because, eh." That's
well,
not fucking fair.
now that's not even a felony anymore,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I know. And wait. Just because you said that, I can guarantee some piece of shit senator or assemblyman or congressman is watching your fucking video and is like, damn, that's a good idea. Let's make spreading the coronavirus a fucking felony.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, think about the people that are going out to shop. I see this every day. Okay, so when we go out to a Car's grocery store, right? We get in the store, and you see about, I'd say, half the people wearing masks, half the people wearing gloves, but the other half don't. And what I've noticed is the older folks are the ones wearing the masks, the people that are in their 40s and higher. And the ones that are not wearing the masks are the younger people, the ones that don't think that this is going to affect them like it does the old people. And, it's already proven that it's already killed people in their 20s. There's already been reports of that. So I think, I think for a little while anyway, I think you're right. As far as, being safe and being, somewhat proactive as far as, not getting other people sick. But at the same time, when is enough going to be enough? When, they're saying that it's going to be 18 months out or longer for any kind of, my job is to ask the questions, right? So they're talking 18 months out before any kind of shot or any kind of the thing to kind of tamper this thing down. But there's already drugs out there that have already been proven to work on it. The hydroxychloric something or other, that one drug that they've been talking about.
I know, Dustin, that's not a cure though.
No, I'm not saying it is. But are you going to trust Bill Gates to put a friggin' injection in your body?
After this, fuck no, man. If anyone trusts Bill Gates, he's a fucking idiot.
Well, I mean, that's we're right now, David. We're in a crux. We're in this damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And you either go out and live your life and risk getting sick, or
Dustin, is it okay if my
that's
wife
fine. She can come on.
Okay.
You're stuck in this situation where you are damned if you do and damned if you don't. You're damned if you don't go to work because now you can't afford anything. And I'll be honest with you, some of these states are having issues with their unemployment benefits. Mine here as well. It's taken forever. Go ahead.
We're having that same sort of problems here and getting testing here. When I got tested, the tests were coming back with false negatives.
Right.
I mean, false positives. And I can't get retested. But I had all the signs down from no taste, high fever. I lost 12 pounds in 7 days, and 8 of those were in the first 3 days. At one point, I did think I was going to stop breathing. David was in the middle.
How long did it last?
When I first started feeling kind of odd, I thought I was doing all kinds of yard work. Now, I'm a pretty big, healthy girl, except for the asthma. I used to, when I was real little, I had pneumonia a lot, and so I've got scarring in my lungs from that.
Right.
But I'm a blacksmith as well as doing a lot of other things. So, moving wheelbarrow of, horse manure around doing gardening, I shouldn't have been out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taught dancing, and so I'm very active. Most people in their 20s can't keep up with me, and I am 55.
Okay.
But
Well,
all of a sudden,
I know that I've seen reports where people that have gotten it can't even really go out to their mailbox. So, I completely understand, the shorter breath thing.
I couldn't even get, David went to work. I barely could get up to go to the restroom, and I couldn't even get up to eat. David came home and he's like, you didn't leave the bedroom, did you? I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't have the energy. You would think I ran a marathon just walking the 10 feet to the bathroom.
Do you have any idea where you may have caught it?
Yeah.
Our CCW instructor was coughing on me at work. He was about 3, maybe 4 feet away, and he was coughing, and he wasn't covering his mouth, and he had been going to California and a few other, who knows where else, but he had been coughing, and he was coughing right at me, and I'm like, dude, can you not cough at me? And he's like, well, I had this strange upper respiratory infection, but it's been a week. I'm not contagious anymore. I'm like, I don't care if you're contagious or not. And then a week later, I started feeling kind of off, but I thought, like I said, I was doing yard work. I was doing my normal stuff. And then
karaoke.
Yeah, and dancing, and I had an asthma attack, and I haven't had an asthma attack in it'd been a good 2 years since I had an asthma attack, so I hadn't had my inhaler.
Did you report the CCW instructor by chance?
No, actually.
Okay, so here's the one thing, and this is something that needs to happen to help with this thing.
This was in March. Okay, this was at the beginning of March.
Okay,
and everybody's like, "Oh, it's just a bad flu." And I'm like, "No, I don't think so. I've been watching for months about all the stuff that's going on and reports that are being pulled, and there was just a lot of stuff that didn't make sense. And one of those is like ibuprofen. When I took ibuprofen, it actually made it worse. From
what I read, you don't want to take Advil. Well, you don't want to take Advil. You don't want to take ibuprofen. You want to take Tylenol.
Right.
It's got codeine in it.
The reason why is it feeds on it.
And not only that, our CCW instructor, he straight up told me, don't take ibuprofen. He said, take Tylenol. Remember, that's when you, right after you said, you feel much worse with ibuprofen.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That's what his doctor
He hasn't been around since.
Oh, no. That was the last time that we saw him.
Yeah. After it was kind of like, and when I went down, I went down hard.
So how long, from the time that you started getting sick until you started feeling better, how long did that take? A couple weeks?
A couple weeks, yeah.
Okay.
But the first week, it was just like I said, I thought I'd overdone it. And then food, I thought it tasted weird, but I didn't even know what all the symptoms were. And then all of a sudden, this high fever came out of nowhere. And a little bit of sore throat and headache, and when the fever got higher, the headache got worse. My legs hurt so bad. I thought it was like somebody had just been kicking me in the shins. My chest started hurting so bad. It felt with every breath. It felt like a horse kicked me right in my chest.
Yeah, and that's kind of the from the people that I've seen interviewed. Now you're the first one that I've interviewed that may have caught it and had a false positive or negative, whatever it is that they.
A lot of people out here had false negatives.
Yeah.
See, what they're also saying too. I don't know if you've seen this report or not, but this has been the last couple of days. If you've had a flu shot in the last year or so, you may actually get a false negative on that. And
I haven't had I haven't gotten a flu shot ever.
There's something to do. I think. Okay, hold on one second. I have a cat on my mixer. Say hey to who's it? Which one is this? This is Justice. So he decided to come up and say hi. Anyway, I think it sounds like you probably had it or a variation of it. And here's the thing, and everybody knows this, with different and this is the one thing that's to keep in mind. I think that people are seeing some different symptoms in different locations, and different climates are going to create different versions of this. And you guys being in Nevada, it's probably pretty dry out there. Have you guys had a lot of rain this year? Rain or snow? Oh, hold on a second.
No, I've noticed that when it's cold, I tend to cough more. David is just, how many nights you've been sleeping in the bedroom again?
Third night.
This will be David's third night, because we've been keeping our distance.
Tyra self-quarantined for quite literally more than a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were sleeping in different rooms, and like she said, this is the third night where this would be the third night we've slept together. The fourth night.
Or will be.
Either way, she did the right thing, just keeping a distance. We just kept our distance.
What they're also finding out is the longer you are exposed to it, so the more time you are exposed to somebody with the virus, the stronger and more deadlier it's going to be, because you're getting a stronger dose of the virus.
Yeah, it's staying in your system longer. But I think in the long run, the longer it's in you, the more antibodies build up. I'm starting to hear that people that have been sick are donating their blood to see if the antibodies and stuff can help those who haven't been sick yet.
We actually want to get tested for the antibodies.
Yeah, but we can't right now.
Yeah, it's not even available yet.
Trying to get tested out here was damn near impossible. And Washoe Valley was testing, but only Washoe County was testing, but only Washoe County residents. And I finally found a place in Carson that does it, but I was sick. I mean, when it really hit me with the fever, it was like a few days into it, a couple days into it. And
when you got tested, you were kind of on a downward slope.
Yeah, I was on the downward slope.
It took days for them to even fucking respond. Then we could test you on this day. It would be like almost a week later. It's like, my God, it seems like some of these medical professionals don't care.
Well, no, they don't.
They just
it's not that they don't care. It's they have a limited number of tests.
That's true.
Well, I think a lot of it too. You talk to somebody that's a nurse or a doctor here, they're going to have different answers than you're going to have out there. And, again, this is a media thing, right? You'd think that the CDC and the WHO and all these medical professionals would have this all together and they would share the information with everybody. It's not happening. If you look across the country and look at the medical hospitals that were set up, the ships that Trump sent out to New York and California, and I know one of the ships in New York has only seen like 20 people. I mean, this was supposed to be such a big thing, so Trump spent his resources out there, and then nothing happened with it.
Well, I know people on the other side of the country, and things that they are saying aren't matching with the reports on the news.
There's a lot of that going around.
The news is downplaying it.
See, and I see, at least on my end of it, I actually see them not downplaying it. I see them over pushing it.
I think it's okay. So you've got these people that are going out and it won't affect me. We get these people into the shop too. Oh, it won't affect me because I'm O positive. Well, I'm O positive also.
So am I.
Okay. And or it won't affect me because I believe in God, or right. Which is fine and dandy, But the virus doesn't care about what you believe in.
No, I agree.
It is what it is. Okay. You know, it's coming out that this thing has MERS and SARS and Corona, and parts of the AIDS virus or HIV virus in it, DNA in it.
Well,
I mean,
if you look, if you look at the clinic or the lab that this was supposedly made in, okay, they specialize in this kind of stuff. And if you've watched the videos and stuff that I've seen lately, the lady that they suspect actually came up with this thing literally had written stories on exactly what this thing does. And she had written all kinds of different things and had presented these findings at different colleges across the world. And she had written up a bunch of different things, and it was in a couple different medical journals. And literally, they built exactly what she was talking about: how it can morph and how it can change, and the different types of components that are in it, and yada yada yada. And unfortunately, you know, we're stuck dealing with it. And here's the thing: this isn't going to be something that's going to go away tomorrow. It's not something that's going to go away next year. And we're gonna, now that it's out there and it's in the open, we're going to be stuck with it for the rest of our lives. And
well, one of the things that's going to happen, and this has happened in the past with, you know, we've had a few other pandemics. It's not the first wave that's bad. It's the second wave of it. Because as soon as they open up, everybody is like feeling free and they want to get out and do all the things that they did before. And then all of a sudden, that's when the massive death happened, is when people let down their guard and go out there instead of going, okay, yeah, I can go get my hair done, or I can go, you know, go to the grocery store a little bit easier. But, you know, just going out and partying in mass crowds, that's going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, you have these young people who are going, oh, I won't get it, and going out and partying, and going. The new thing is like licking toilets, which I don't. I just don't understand it. I guess you got to be in your 20s to understand licking a toilet, but
yeah, we were all 20 one time.
You know,
I never fucking licked a toilet.
Okay,
or ate a Tide Pod. You know,
yeah.
David, none of us have tried the Tide Pod challenge or the toilet licking challenge. Nothing like that. You know, the biggest thing we did was went out and wrecked our bicycles on purpose in the dirt. I did that. I'll be honest with you, I did it.
We ramped and we climbed trees and we did crazy fun shit, right? We didn't do nasty toilet licking.
What the fuck, guys? Oh my God.
Well, I mean, you know, I hate to bring this up, but we also didn't eat ass back in the day. So that's something that's happened in this generation. I don't know when they thought that was going to be a good idea, but yeah, back when I was in high school, that was not an option.
Right.
So,
but the people that have been on doing these challenges now are coming out that they've got it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe this is God's way of shorting out the population a little bit. Because if they're dumb enough to lick a toilet, then they're probably not smart enough to continue life on this planet.
Well, and that's why we have the lockdown, because the people that are out there doing this shit are not smart enough to go, maybe I should stay away from people and not cough on them and not have them cough on me, and do stuff at home for a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I think that's, you know, again, and this isn't to, you know, shortchange you and what you went through, but you start taking away people's choice, and you're going to have some serious problems, and you know it as well as I do.
Hold on.
But we have okay, we do have rules in this country. It's not just you do whatever the fuck you want when you want. because it can affect other people. It's like if you're driving down the road, right, and you decide you want to drive on the opposite side of the street because nobody's going to tell you can't, you're going to get in an accident and you're going to kill people. But that's still telling people not to do stuff. But other people, most people are okay with that because they don't want to be run in head on.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, David. Then I'm gonna shoot an analogy at you guys.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. All we're asking is when the country reopens, be cautious.
No, I agree.
But looking at humanity, they ain't gonna be cautious. They gotta go out and fucking party. Yay, we're fucking free now, and that's just how it's gonna be. And there's no stopping that. You cannot fix a herd mentality. You can't.
Well,
a person's cool. A couple of people's fine. The whole country, they're gonna just be like, fuck it.
Well, here's the thing that I'm really scared is going to happen in this country. Okay, so with the mentality of our people in this country, and you've seen it yourself, David. You deal with guns, so you see some of the crazy idiots that come in and try and buy weapons and. Okay, so now here's the thing that I see, and there's an actual, I can't remember what it's called, but if you get enough people believing that they have something, they will have it, whether they have it or not, right? If you tell enough people in a room that the room that they're in may be blue, even though it's red, they're going to believe, half the people are going to believe that it's blue. That's just, and it's, again, you mentioned it, mob mentality. And what ends up happening is you're going to end up having people that are going to be it's going to end up being a thing where you say, or you're going to have a country full of hypochondriacs. And I'm not saying that what people have is not real, but you're going to have everybody and their brother out there getting tested for something that there's no way that they have. And we're already seeing that in some respects in like LA. We're seeing it in New York. So they don't already have enough testing kits as it is, correct? You can agree with that.
You can't think yourself into a fever, though. You can't just go, okay,
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And there's 100. Look it up. There's 100% fact that shit that someone tells you can affect you physiologically.
But this is a little bit different. This is not mass hypnosis.
No, hold on a second here, guys.
This stuff is real.
You're going past what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not real. Okay, but what I'm trying to tell you is you start telling enough people that they have something, they're all going to run out and they're all going to get tested, and then we're not going to have the testing kits to actually test the real people. Okay? If somebody gets a sniffle, hold on, let me finish. I'm working my way up to a point here. Okay, so if you get enough people out there and testing, and then the ones that are getting tested, 80% of them are not legit, and now you've got 20% that are. Okay, the other people that may be sick are never going to find out for themselves whether or not they're sick or not. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to have that same herd mentality, David, that you talked about. They're going to jump out there and start getting tested, and they're going to start running out of stuff, and they're not going to have enough medicine to be able to fix the ones that actually have it. So I think that this is where I'm going with as far as the media goes. The media overblowing things is going to start getting people out there preemptively to get tested when they don't need to be. And I'm not saying that, what I'm saying is if you get a regular common cold and your neighbor may have had COVID-19, but you've never had any contact with that neighbor, and you go out there and you think that, oh my God, my neighbor had it, I must have it, and I'm going to go out there and get tested, you just wasted a test. You know what I mean? So we have to be really careful in the country.
Well, the problem is, Dustin, also, you got those asymptomatic people as well that have no symptoms but actually do have it and that could spread it. So, it's a tough situation to be in,
Now, when they tested me, I got questioned okay, about the different symptoms I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first person that talked to me. Then they call me with another person, and they ask me questions. And then they're all like, okay, we'll get back to you. And then they called me again. They asked me the questions again. And then that's when they said, okay, you meet everything, the criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now what they're doing is they're testing the people that have the severe
symptoms
and have underlying problems like either heart condition, asthma, and I have asthma, so it wasn't just me having an asthma attack. It was the sharp pains in my legs. My fingers were going numb. I lost the taste and smell.
And these are symptoms that she was having, and not knowing that these were the symptoms until we started looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I see what you're saying, Dustin, that if we're going to start testing people, start testing the most severe, which really sucks. But we shouldn't let it get to that, because if it gets so severe that they're just going to die, I mean, when do we start testing? Is the bigger question at this point. When do we start testing?
Well, no, okay. So I think you kind of missed my point. I think what I'm trying to explain is, if the media is out there pushing this thing, right, and they're telling everyone to stay home and yada yada yada, and then they're also giving out all the symptoms to things. Okay, how many people do you know? And I know a bunch. I know a whole bunch that as soon as they get a sniffle, or as soon as something is not 100% dead on with their, they wake up, they could be friggin' hungover as far as I know. They get up and something doesn't feel quite right. They automatically go in and, they're wanting to get tested for something that there's no possible chance that they can have. It's like this, okay? If the media tells you, or your doctors tell you, that you need to line up and you need to line up on this cliff and you need to walk over this cliff, are you going to do it? And that's the one thing that I'm trying to be cautious about with people, is the herd mentality that we have. Is here's what it's going to happen: is this going to be cool to be one of those guys that had this, and so people are going to start using it as an excuse. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying at all that that's the case with you, but the left, the crazy left, and David, you know it as well as I do. We've dealt with them in the past. Okay, they'll use this as an excuse and be like, you're going to have these people that never had this. You're going to have people on there telling everybody, don't do this. This is what I went through and what I experienced. And then you're going to, okay, well, then show us the test results or something. They're not going to have any kind of proof that they went through it. Okay, these celebrities that we see that have supposedly gone through this. Kathy Griffin is 100% example of this. She went in for a completely unrelated problem and then bitched on social media that she didn't get tested for COVID-19. Well, she went in for something completely different. Okay, so that's what we're going to have to deal with this. And so you're going to have these sensationalists that are going to be complaining and complaining and complaining that they didn't get tested, even though they didn't go in there and that wasn't the reason that they went into the hospital. It's going to happen across the country. So we got to be really careful on how we go about this. And David, I completely get your concern with people going out to rallies and not being protected and not being their social distancing and everything else. I hate that term, by the way. I absolutely hate that term. You know why? Because the left came up with it, and the media came up with it. And
I
fucking hate that term.
But I think it's something that we're just gonna have to deal with, because it's not just the left that's using it. Now it's the right. So
how long are we gonna do that? How long are we going to wait till things go back to normal? Because it's never going to be normal again.
No, nobody has an answer to that, Dustin. Right. There's no answer to that.
Now, as for the, people wanting to say, yeah, I have it. That's not like me. I kept trying to. I didn't want to have it, right? And
I don't think anyone wants it.
Well, I didn't want to be one of those people. Oh, look at me! Look what I got it. Poor me.
Right.
No, I was trying to explain away, like, my legs hurting. Or I actually, last year, I went through menopause. And so I had high temperatures or and then sweats. And I woke up with the back of my neck feeling a little sweaty. And I thought, oh, shit, am I going through that crap again? It wasn't.
That was actually the first thing that we had said. Like, oh, crap.
I kept saying, oh, okay, it was, I did a bunch of yard work. I was pulling wheelbarrows. I was, it's a wagon, but, I'm doing all this stuff. That's got to be what's going on with me. And then it's, it was kind of really hitting me. I was starting to get this cough. And realized after about a week of all this going on, I had lost. It's like, man, this stuff tastes weird.
Yeah, and she couldn't eat turkey. Okay.
There's a thing that I like that has turkey in it, and it just tasted rank, and it wasn't spoiled or anything, and it smelled weird. I had to tell him, take that away. I couldn't even eat soup.
Yeah, she told me it smells rank, and I'm looking at her like, fuck, I'll eat this, and I did. The only thing that she could actually keep down,
didn't
actually eat, was bread and butter.
Yeah.
For days, that's all she ate.
Bread and butter and water.
Hawaiian bread and some butter. I'm glad I brought that Hawaiian bread, man. That was fucking good too.
Let me ask.
I was trying to explain. I was trying to justify. Oh, this is what's going on with me. Oh, that's going on with me. And then it was like, okay, something really weird is going on with me. I've got this cough, no taste. And the cough was like when you get the flu or common cold, you get all congested up and you're going through tissue like crazy. There was none of that. I could breathe clearly through my nose. It wasn't congested. But if I breathed deep or, tried to get air into my lungs, it felt like somebody kicked me in the chest.
Yeah, what ends up happening with it, at least from what I can understand, is the bottom half of your lungs. So we had a guy here in Alaska that gave a pretty good description of what he went through. And basically what he stated was that while he was up walking around and moving around, he got really fatigued. But when he laid down, he felt better. And the reason that they contribute that was that when he was laying down and he felt better, it took the pressure off the bottom of his lungs. But at the same time, while he was laying down, his lungs were filling up with crystals. And the guy was really descriptive about it. He really explained it very well, what was going on. And the only way he got through it was his doctors kept him up and kept him moving. And that's kind of what helped force all this stuff out. Now, Justice, you're about to get your butt kicked. It's going to end up being a thing where I don't think normalcy is going to be a thing anymore, but we're going to have to figure out how to, I hate to see this country turn into China, and that's where we're headed, where everybody's going to be wearing the friggin' masks. And okay, this is getting, you gotta go. My animals walk all over me.
I would rather, hand sanitize, keep my distance from people, and wear the mask than go through that again.
No, I would agree with you. I mean, anything that you have breathing wise, that's a problem. I have asthma too, but mine's not as bad as my wife's. And anytime you have any breathing difficulty, it's scary. And I'll be honest with you, that's I've had pneumonia myself, but it was when I was a kid, and it was the only time I've ever spent time in the hospital. And I remember it pretty vividly, being in there and being scared to death because everybody that was in there was working on trying to get me to breathe better. And, some of the stuff that you have to do, and the nebulizer and wearing oxygen and stuff like that, it sucks. It's not something that you want to have anybody to go through.
No. And as a kid, I had to be in oxygen tents. One school year, I actually had to stay back because every 2 weeks I was in the hospital and I had oxygen tents, and it is not fun, especially when you're a kid. But this this was harsher than a lot of that was.
Mhm.
If I'm, and when you're a kid, it's kind of scary, and it's like, oh, you're in a hospital. But when you're laying in bed and all of a sudden you can't get any air in, and your fever is raging, and there's nothing you can do about it because the medication that you just took is not helping at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you think, oh my God, am I going to die? It's scary. I couldn't even get up to go tell David what was going on with me.
Right.
And
Well, I think,
and I think one of my biggest fears was he was going to come in the morning and I was going to be dead.
yeah, that's terrible. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody.
And then the people out here, I posted what I went through, and I got blasted that I was part of the problem creating this.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. One of the worst things that we're dealing with across this country, and I've said this more times than I can count, is social media is literally one of the biggest problems in this country right now. And it's good to be able to keep people connected, but at the same time, it gives everybody an avenue to blast people like you've had done, and it also gives people a sense of what's the word I want to use? They feel safe being able to blast somebody from the internet and being able to talk crap from the couch. And
keyboard warrior.
Yeah, and it does.
Well, like
and,
me, I've got friends on the other side of the country. My son is on the other side of the country. I've got friends over in Europe. And so the easiest way to communicate with each other is we post stuff and we see what each other is doing and how they are doing. And
well, let me ask you something on that, okay? Now, what's the difference between being able to post something and being able to just pick up a phone and call them? That's how we used to do things.
Well, when you're talking to people in Europe,
yeah, it's a little different. I get it.
No, that you're talking to 500 people at the same time instead of making 500 freaking phone calls. It's easier to say stuff.
My son is on the East Coast, so my son is like 3-4 hours ahead of me. He's also in the military, so he's in the Navy, and being able to get a hold of him.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. No, I understand. The thing is you, David, you mentioned making 500 phone calls. Okay, so I don't even know if I know 500 people anymore. I left California, and it's like I've got my friends from there, and I've been all over the United States, and I know people from all over the place. But I don't speak to 500 people. I do maybe on here, but at the same time, I could give the same information, on a phone call. It would actually end up being probably better. Well, David, I'm going to get off of here. I've been on here for a little over an hour, so I thank you guys for giving us your story, and I wish that I hope that you heal up good, and hopefully you're back on the mend. Hopefully, David, you don't catch it. I appreciate the your thoughts and everything as far as the rallies go. I don't think, unfortunately, that it's going to stop. I think it's just going to get more and more. I think it's going to build, and I do hope that everybody is safe with it. I think the rolling rallies is the way to go, honestly, because the rolling rallies, the vehicle rallies.
I totally support that.
Because you're in your vehicles, you're in your element. You're not going to affect anything, but you can also stop the traffic and you can stop the businesses. I think truckers need to get involved a little bit more personally.
I don't think truckers are going to get involved, and the only reason why I say that is because truckers are the lifeline of the country. If the trucks stop doing stuff, the country will die.
No,
okay?
I completely agree with that, but I still think I know people around here that are truckers that don't have work right now, and that's in Alaska. It's different than it is down there, but a lot of the places that these places, a lot of places that these truckers deliver to are closed here. So they're not getting the hours.
I just want to say one last thing before I leave. I know a lot of your friends are my friends, and I'm not here to blast everybody that went to the rallies, but just fucking be safe about it, guys. The videos and photos I've seen, it's like half you people didn't even give a fuck, man. And that's what's aggravating to me.
Right.
I'm not saying not to go out and not to do stuff, but be cautious about it. For the love of God, just be cautious.
Well, you know as well as I do, David, and this is something that we've all trained with and we've all practiced with and everything else. Knowing your surroundings. I think that's the important lesson that everybody needs to understand. Know your surroundings. Be prepared for your surroundings. And if people do that, I think that we can get through it.
I agree.
Throwing caution to the wind is probably not the smartest thing to do right now.
No, it's not.
So
that's the only reason why I'm so pissed right now. That's it.
Well, hopefully you're good and she heals up good and stays healthy. Hopefully that she's got enough antibodies and stuff built up now she doesn't end up catching it again. Let's I pray that everybody stays healthy out there. And
thank you.
We're gonna go from there. All right.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Be good.
Man. It's been good talking to you, man.
Oh, all the time, man. Anytime. Yeah. Now that you got Skype, now you can call me on Skype and just hit me up first on Facebook. And if I'm on live or something, you're more than welcome to come on.
Oh man, thank you so much.
All right, brother. Be good.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's my off button? I'm stuck on.
Okay, let me try to hang up, man. I'm so sorry. I don't know.
No worries.
Oh, here we go. Later, bud.
All right, bud. Bye. So there you have it, folks. I mean, that's somebody that kind of went through a lot of the same symptoms. She did test negative, but there is chances that there are false positives and negatives out there. So wanted everybody to kind of see that. And I would like to talk to somebody that's been at one of these rallies across the country. And we'll probably do it at another time. Hit me up a little bit so we can kind of plan it. And we'll go from there. But I'm going to take off and go spend the rest of the evening with my wife and enjoy our lockdown, hunker down, whatever you want to call it, and we'll go from there. But love everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you at another time. Let's peace out.